To the professional baseball fan, there are three major attractions: nostalgia, speculation, and statistics. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to take a look at all three, but with a special focus on baseball's future. The superstars to be, new dimensions in the minor league, expansion and relocation in the majors, new looks and new things to look for. As Yogi Berra might say, baseball is a game with deep depth. Well, we're about to take a plunge into the waves of baseball's future and speculate as to what we'll find. On the Mississippi in east central Iowa is the industrial city of Davenport, with a population that exceeds 100,000. It's the largest in the Quad Cities area, and it's also the home of the Quad City Angels, a single-A franchise club that will soon boast one of the finest facilities in all of the minor leagues. A stadium that, in fact, has received $2.5 million from the city fathers in support of its construction. Well, this raises a couple of questions. Iowans are reputed to be exceptionally level-headed with a sixth sense as to what the country is feeling and where it's going. So what does this stadium mean to Davenport and the future of minor league baseball?
John O'Donnell Stadium is on the comeback trail, but not so long ago, baseball was close to being swept from town. The 60-year-old park was run down, the field horrible. In fact, just 2 years ago, the Angels were threatening to leave, and the players weren't happy either.
There was a couple of holes out there by the warning track. There's a few holes. And
you like playing with those?
I'd rather play on a better surface.
The threats hit home. Before last season, cleanup began. So did a plan for a $3 million renovation. Seats were one of the first things fixed up. The field was eventually raised almost 2 feet, drainage and irrigation put in.
Down, slider down. That's good right there.
Even the outfield wall was rebuilt.
The plywood had been up there for so many years and been through so many floods that it was just pretty well rotten.
By opening day this year, the rolling up of the tarp seemed to fog memories of the old ballpark.
Last year, everybody got here, they were really down because of the way the field looked. This year, everybody's pumped up, they're ready to play.
The ballpark was deplorable. I mean, it was close to being condemned. Had the city not made the move, they wouldn't have had professional baseball here anymore.
We wanted to be in a position if Major League Baseball were to expand, additional AAA clubs would be needed, and we'd be able to knock on the door of professional baseball and say, we're ready for you.
AAA may be the goal here, but single A must first be a hit. In 70 games last year, only 44,000 fans came. With the renovation and management changes, that many have already shown in the first half of this season, keeping step with a goal of 100,000 fans.
If we're drawing over 100,000, this club is successful and will continue to be successful for years to come. How big we want to get is the big question.
There's still another $2 million to spend on this park, all to help accommodate the fan. If the draw works, the owner's willing to consider spending the cash, whatever it is, for AAA ball.
My time frame is 1991. I think by then Major League expansion might occur. They need a AAA club when they expand Major League Baseball. And by then we'll have our act together.
I think a city has to look at that from a very comprehensive standpoint and make sure that you have not only a good place for people to exist, but a good place for people to live, something that makes them proud of their community, enhances the quality of life, and gives the diversity that most people want that live in a community.
Greg Vandegrift for Baseball 1993.
The New York Yankees have had a rich tradition of power hitters: Ruth, Gehrig, Yogi, Maris, Mantle, Mattingly, and Reggie, to name a few. The Yankees aren't resting on their long ball laurels either. In fact, their Schenectady, New York farm club is grooming a young third baseman that seems to have all the tools necessary to become the next possible Mickey Mantle.
In a sport where pitching wins games and speed is the weapon of the 80s, the home run remains the most magical, and the New York Yankees think Hensley Bam Bam Mullins is their next long ball magician.
I think I'd be a power hitter
and a high run production player in the big leagues. Right now, I think between 25 and 30 home runs and probably 100 RBIs.
At this state right now, I'd say, yeah, he's a pretty darn good power hitter.
And Albany manager Stump Merrill sees the right kind of power.
One of the reasons that I really like him is because he can go the other way very well. He's got a perfect swing for the right field seats in Yankee Stadium.
And if the Yankees are expecting big things, so too is Muhlen's native island of Curacao.
When I go home, everybody wants to be with me and talk to me. And I go on TV, I go on radio stations, do interviews. They expect me to be in the big league someday, so they're all, looking up for me the day I reach up there. And everybody's really looking very close for the day I get to the big league.
There's surely pressure on this 21-year-old, but Muhlen's is as mature as he is powerful. He speaks 5 languages fluently and may already be ready for the New York media glare.
Well, I think I can handle all the pressure there is in New York and all the media, publicity and stuff. I think I can handle that. Doing an interview is not like hitting a curveball,
That mastered, it should soon be on to endorsements. What kind of commercials do you think you might do?
Flintstones, because my nickname is Bam Bam.
And baseball cards.
Probably most of the time with a bat in the hand, because that's what I do best.
In Albany, New York, this is Jim Brennan reporting for Baseball 1993.
After working his way up through the minor league system, he ascended to the ranks of the majors and proceeded to manage the team of the decade in the 70s. He won a world championship in both leagues, and although he's won the nickname of Captain Hook, he's among the most respected skippers of all time.
Sparky Anderson, reflect a little bit about baseball and your years in the game and how it's changed not only in the major leagues but in the minor leagues, because you were in the minor leagues for many, many years before you became a major league manager.
Well, Bobby, when I started, there were so many clubs. There was clubs all over the place, and there was so many places for players to play. And today, each club has 4 or 5 clubs, and we just don't have enough places for players today. And I think we lose a lot of players that didn't have time to develop because we just don't have time. The next crop comes, and we have to have a place for them to play. Major League Baseball, to me, has just gotten better and better. It's gotten... you can just see by the attendance around. We'll probably have 4 or 5 clubs this year draw over 3 million people. It's getting bigger. It's getting better. The players are much stronger. They're much more intelligent, too, Bobby. They're really sharp young people. Most of them now been in college or at least spent a year or 2 in college. And it's just getting so big that I hate to think what it's finally going to end up. Some of these guys are so strong we might have a few Tysons running around in another 3 or 4 years. What I would like to see, though, is we settle down a little bit. I think we are in the thing of grabbing players from here and grabbing there. I would like to see us really concentrate on our farm systems and basically get every player from your farm system. I think the other way was foolish. It didn't prove out to be right, and I think most people that fooled with it found out they just got burned.
What are some of the things that you know will happen within the next 5 years? What are some of the things on the horizon, good or bad, that you know are going to take place?
The good thing is going to be the fact that the players are just going to get better and better. It's just there. You can see it with the programs they have now and the new things they're learning with the exercises and the strength development. And they've gotten now to the point where they know how to do it. And the players are willing to do it because they know that every year they can play. There's 10 years they won't have to work because of the salaries today. And I give them credit. That's what I say about intelligence of a player. I give them credit that they realize this, and they're spending so much time in the winter. When they come to spring training now, Bobby, 10 days and they're ready to go. I mean, as far as actually being ready to go play, they could play. Their timing isn't there yet, but their conditioning is.
Is there one final question, Sparky? Is there any change that's taken place in the last several years that you haven't liked, that you would like to see change back to the old ways?
I would like to see us have no DH, and I've been an advocate of that, and people don't like to hear me say that, especially managing the many years I have in the American League. I would just like to see it go to a fan vote. And if the fans want it, then we'll have it. And if they don't want it, let's get rid of it and have just like they play in the National League. If the fans vote for it, let's put it in the National League. But let's settle this thing one way or the other. Let's either have it in both or don't have it. Let's stop playing soccer in one league and rugby in the other. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
If you were to ask the people of St. Petersburg, Florida, where baseball will be in 1993, they'll tell you point blank, right here. The faithful of the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area are so confident of getting a Major League franchise that a new dome stadium is already under construction, just to make sure that the new team, wherever it comes from, has a place to hang its hat. The last time this kind of confidence was expressed was in 1973, when Tug McGraw had all of New York saying, "You gotta believe, you gotta believe."
Sun-drenched beaches, crowded park benches. Those are the images many Americans have of St. Petersburg, if they've even heard of this Florida Gulf Coast city at all.
St. Petersburg has a reputation as being known as the city publicity built.
Bab says for most of the city's 100 years, that publicity has promoted the area's climate and lifestyle.
By 1900, St. Petersburg had already begun to base its economic foundations on tourism and winter residence. There are a lot of people, even going all the way back to the late 1890s, started coming here on their doctor's orders, for health reasons.
Now the city is looking to alter its image.
Across America, people don't know even where St. Petersburg is. And I think having a Major League Baseball team and the efforts to acquire one will go a long ways towards removing that ignorance of where we are and who we are.
Community leaders believe this stadium and its eventual tenant will change St. Petersburg's image forever, and in so doing spark an economic boom for the entire area.
We want Major League Baseball. We want the economics and the pride and prestige that goes with having a Major League franchise.
Elected officials want a team too, bad enough to build an $85 million stadium without even having a team. The Florida Suncoast Dome is scheduled for completion next summer. The facility will seat 43,000 for baseball. The regulars at St. Pete's oldest sports bar are confident a potential owner will be able to fill those seats.
We got people coming here every day from other states. What are they coming, 1,000 a day into Florida? And I'm sure that we could support a Major League Baseball team.
You have to realize that most of the people coming down here are from cities such as Detroit, Cleveland, New York, Boston, Baltimore, Philadelphia. They've all had great baseball teams. Of course, they're all fans, and they're down here and they're starved for a regular team. Sure.
There are 250,000 potential fans in St. Petersburg, more than 2 million in the immediate Tampa Bay area. Community leaders say they're committed to putting a team in the Suncoast Dome, and soon.
It's just my opinion, but I think whoever comes here, whether it's an existing Major League franchise or an expansion team, are going to walk into a gold mine.
I'm Jim Siligo reporting for Baseball 1993.